thanks for joining us here at the Amplified Network. Your show will begin in just a few minutes, but first I want to go on ahead and shout out to our awesome sponsors. First, we have the Mouse Merch Box. It is an official Disney subscription box. It is $60 quarterly if you subscribe, or $70 per box. It's going to come with $120 to $150 worth of exclusive Disney apparel and merchandise, so definitely check that out. If you do decide that you want to check them out, we do have a coupon code for you. Coupon code is going to be Springs20 for 20% off of your order. Next, we have the Great Adventure Supply Company. Great Adventure Supply Company is really cool. They have a bunch of 80s and 90s themed pop culture themed Disney and theme park apparel. So if you're like me, you miss the 90s, you love that style. They recently released some new exciting additions to their store. Be sure to check them out. And we also have a coupon code for the Great Adventure Supply Company that's going to be Magic15 for 15% off of your order. So thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you and our sponsors. So stay tuned here on the Amplified Network. Your show will be coming up soon.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Theatergoers, episode 6, Detective Pikachu. Thank you guys for joining with us. My name's Tony once again. Got my co-host, my boy Tafari, right here. You might know him from his other show, The Anime Club. Huge hits. Now he's got 2 shows. He's the man. Look at him. He's working hard, bro.
I try. I want to be the very best.
You want to be the very best? Yeah?
No one ever
was. No one ever was. You trying to catch all these shows? Is that what you try to do?
I'm catching the first 100 plus Pokemon and calling it a career.
There we go. Oh, you calling it a career after that? That's it?
A couple of them, yeah.
All right. All right. So
I couldn't keep up with the current gens. I catch the legendaries and Go, and that's the most of my knowledge. I don't even know who these new ones are right now.
Me neither. I gotta be honest with you, me neither. But I'm glad you're setting a goal for yourself in terms of that, because that's basically what we're gonna talk about today. Today, episode 6, Detective Pikachu. A lot of people have been waiting for it ever since they basically. I think they dropped. They never announced really anything.
They didn't give That's what
you didn't hear rumors about
it. They didn't do the thing where people tweet about it, then speculate about it, then the trailer drops.
Which is what all Avengers Endgame was.
Yeah, and then people already have their anticipations and 1,001. I didn't see any theory videos. No crazy the outcome might blah. People just let this one live and breathe on its own and went to go see it when it came out. And didn't have any opinions until after it dropped and they went and saw it for themselves. So that's what I appreciated. They didn't put a whole lot of hype. They just let the movie go the route that a normal movie should.
That's right. And then, to be honest, even because you screenshotted me a picture of the trailer
Yeah.
Not only was it trending like #1 on YouTube, which isn't easy, but then on top of that, it came out in February, and here we are 3 months later. Plenty of people were still hyped for it too.
It's damn near the summertime.
Yeah, exactly. So coming into about ending springtime, almost coming into summertime right now. It looks like summer outside with all that rain that's going on. Let me tell you, all this storming and windy and whatnot. I'm not ready for this, man.
Not from Florida.
Not from Florida. All right.
Bug season is on us.
So basically, I'm gonna be straight up. First of all, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I did not let that become like make me biased with the opinion when I saw the movie. And then you're both. You're actually both.
I grew up on both.
Yeah. So and we grew up on the TV shows.
Yeah, I grew up on that whole. I grew up on that whole Cartoon Network card show animation block.
Cartoon Network keyword. The thing, and we grew up on it. It was Saturday morning, Sunday morning cartoons, but in the way that they kind of separate, at least from the beginning, Pokemon came out as both a TV show and a video game.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like you mentioned to me earlier, it was a package deal.
Yeah, it was basically a package deal because in Japan you had the original, the original Kanto region stuff, the original 150 or 151 because Mew was like the big first reveal we had.
Original manga, right?
Yeah, and then they had red, blue, and green drop. Green dropped in Japan but never came over here for reasons. Then yellow dropped, and then we got red, blue, and yellow. And I think they already had Gen 2 planned because Ho-Oh was in like the first episode of the show.
Right. And then basically with Yu-Gi-Oh, it basically did the same thing, but it just had the TV show, and it also started as a card game.
Yeah.
It wasn't into a video game. And then I'll admit, because I was the one that was really, really into Yu-Gi-Oh, at least in terms of like how fun it was for me compared to Pokemon, when they would come out with the video games for it, and I think they came out with like a GameCube video game, something Roses, Dueling Roses, right?
I'd forget that. I'm blanking on the name of it. Somebody can tell me. I had the original.
It was in 2014 or 2004. Either one. I can't remember the Yu-Gi-Oh. You're talking like the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, right?
The Yu-Gi-Oh. There was a couple of them.
There were a couple.
There was like
the
Yu-Gi-Oh movie. There was. They have one. I think it's still on Netflix where it's like a collaboration. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Yu-Gi-Oh! GX crosses Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. That one I actually like. The one I saw, I think 2014 was Dark Side of Dimensions.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right.
It had to be 2017, 2016 because it was the year I was graduating, and that's when me and my roommate.
So that's like a reminder. That's how you know.
Me and my roommate had to get up at like 9 in the morning to catch a 10 a.m. showing because we both had class when it played noon on Friday, and then we went. And if you went kind of like this movie, which we'll talk about later, you got a special card, and everybody got a holographic obelisk.
You got obelisk the Tormentor.
Yes, you got
like the God cards, which were huge, especially if you followed the show.
That was the thing. They had more. Yu-Gi-Oh had more
powerful cards.
Hype about it when it came to which card could I get rare holographic because they had the God cards. You had Exodia.
You had the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
You had the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Dark
you had the
Magician.
Red Eyes Black Dragon. Dark
and
Magician.
I know this because I collected the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I had all these cards you just mentioned except for Exodia. I never found those.
I had a couple.
But I had Obelisk the Tormentor, Ra, the yellow god.
Slifer the Sky Dragon.
That was the red one, yeah. And then I had like 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. I had a Dark Magician, blah, blah, blah. But we're here to talk about Pokemon, though.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about the rivalries.
Yeah, and then even with the movies, though, it seemed even Pokemon had that advantage because you had Pokemon the movie where we saw Mewtwo versus Mew and everything. That was the first movie from the Pokemon franchise, and that one I think that one I almost cried in.
I think that one had or still has like the top anime opening for like films because that one. Because of the hype Pokemon had back then, that one went everywhere.
Yeah,
like,
because
I remember seeing that, and I think Pokemon the movie 2000 with Lugia. I think I saw both of those in theaters.
Yeah, because it was perfect because it was a really good time with how popular the show was, how popular the video games were, and then you come out with the movie, and basically 10 to like 13-year-old kid wanted to see exactly the first movie like ever. And
that was before we had like social media and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that was when we were still humble, when we were still young.
All the Dragon Ball movies I've seen in the last year, I found out through like Facebook, Twitter, and like just Googling on Fandango.
And you
on my
know this
phone.
because again, he's host of the Anime Club, so you like pay attention to these.
Like, what is it? I was the main one asking for my shout out on Twitter when they did the reveal for the last Dragon Ball movie and the villain's face was hidden. And then I looked on Fandango to see if I could get tickets earlier when tickets would drop. And I noticed they're showing 3 old movies back to back, like in 3 consecutive months. So I was the first person on Twitter. I'm like, am I the only person who notices that these 3 characters from the 3 throwaway movies are coming out and that we don't know what's going on in the new movie? If these 3 are involved in the main story, I just want to say I said it first. And sure enough, I was right.
Boom.
But Pokemon...
That's why you're the man you are, man.
I went into this one completely blind, and I left satisfied. I'll say that much.
Okay, you left satisfied. Okay. So basically, when it comes to the rivalry with Pokemon and with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's kind of fair to say in terms of like everything combined, Pokemon has an advantage.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh, as we mentioned, tried with the video games. It didn't work. The movies they tried, it kind of worked, but not as much as Pokemon did.
Pokemon has kept, I think, the same cast, whereas Yu-Gi-Oh
kind of changes stuff
when
up.
I went on Kids WB one day and I saw it was like, or Toon's Eye, whatever they call it now, and they censored the hell out of certain parts of certain shows for no reason. What did they do? Like Dragon Ball Z, Mr. Popo was blue. The Spirit Bomb was now called the Spirit Blast, and the censored versions of the words were just shoehorned in horribly. Mm-hmm. And then like Yu-Gi-Oh, I realized some of the cards were censored.
And then on top of that, they even changed Yu-Gi-Oh from like literally just playing cards to like dice to like top spinning tops and one, I think.
Yeah, they've experimented a couple of times, but now when I went and I saw like the kids who look like Yugi and Kaiba but aren't Yugi and Kaiba, and they're like on surfboards and motorcycle bikes.
Were they friends?
I don't even know. I was mad.
You know they're not supposed to be.
I was mad confused. Like when they did the crossover special, that one was cool because they all got pulled from different timelines and they were all like fighting with like their cards and stuff, kind of like they do in Jump Force. Okay. But Pokemon has kept the same cast, so it's always Ash and his current 2 sidekicks and whatever drama they get into with a legendary Pokemon.
And the same goal, to catch them all.
Basically. Even though he catches like 15.
Yeah. Overall, because he never wants his Pokemon to evolve or anything like that. But so let's get into the movie. So you went in blind and
Completely.
You came out satisfied.
Yeah, I just knew like certain Pokemon were in it, and that was the most info I even absorbed going into it.
Right, and is satisfied like the best way you can describe it? Like, is that like your only word for?
I'll say as far as like anime adaptations go down, like the Death Note movie was, I mean, iffy depending on how you feel about it or if you've watched the source material. Last Airbender was painful to watch. Dragon Ball Evolution was horrible to watch. I haven't seen the Bleach movie. I heard it was good. Mm-hmm. Full Metal Alchemist, I've heard mixed reviews. So we're like 3 and we're like as far as
4 or 5 live action.
As far as L's go, we're like 3 out of 5 on taking L's on live action anime adaptations. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you have something like this where there's like 1,000 different individual creatures, and now you're making a live action out of that, to where they focus and even sprinkling them in like the background doing their own individual activities. It's not an easy thing to do, and they could easily F it up at any chance. But I feel like they executed that accurately. And I never played the Detective Pikachu game, so I don't know if the stories are similar. Mm-hmm. I just know in the game, I think it's the same where he can talk to the main character and only he can understand him. Mm-hmm. And he also wears the hat and is like addicted to coffee and has amnesia. So they kept that part the same. I don't know how the game played out, but I think as far as this concept, they adapted it well, and they didn't do anything that was a big middle finger to the fans or was like a big WTF in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you in terms of the live action movies that we've seen over the last few years. I didn't even need to see Dragon Ball Evolution. I just knew that was trash, and it was the biggest insult in like history to like Dragon Ball.
I liked it as a kid, but looking back on it now, I'm like, I'll watch it. But if I'm like if I move,
I don't even give that thing the time of day, man, because that was so bad in terms of like just the entire.
What's funny though is the game for PSP people actually like it has good reviews. They're like, the movie's trash, but this is actually fun to play.
I've had the Dragon Ball Z games, like I've had Budokai on like the PlayStation. I've done the Game Boy games and the PSP games.
Yeah.
But man, that live action movie, I'll tell you what, wow. If you guys ever have a chance to see it, just don't. Just like literally scroll over it on Netflix, Hulu, whatever it takes. And then I haven't seen Bleach or Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm like you, I've heard mixed reviews on it, and both. I think both of those are on Netflix right now.
Yeah, I got friends who don't watch Bleach, but they're like the Bleach movie is actually pretty good and covered like the first arc of the anime and manga pretty well, which I always missed out because I never started from the beginning. I started like 50 episodes in. But everyone's like, oh, that did a good job. And I think that's what this movie did, was a good job of making realistic. Because we've seen those like Tumblr posts where it's like realistic versions of each Pokemon and it's horrific. Whereas this one, they did a good job of keeping it with like the lore of certain Pokemon and making them realistic. Like the first shot we get is with Cubone. He's like, nice Pokemon wearing your mother's skull.
Wearing the dead skulls
yeah,
of
so
your
relatives. They kept the lore for each Pokemon and like the weird backstories that some of them have throughout the films and throughout the movies and TV shows. So I thought that was cool.
I'll agree with that. Especially, I'll tell you what. Especially when with the trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog coming out not too long ago, and seeing how just plain crap that CGI image of him. I saw it on Twitter, a tweet that went viral. A dude had the picture of Sonic from the trailer on the one side, and on the other side, he's like, I took $5 to work on it, like on my computer and the little app, and he made it look exactly like Sonic from the video game. So with that said, just being able to look at what they did with Sonic and then what they did with these Pokemon, you could easily recognize if not almost so many of the Pokemon on screen just from watching those cartoons and everything, you know?
Yeah. And that was my thing. Like, as an avid Sonic fan since like 95, that'd be my first game ever. I was willing to give it a chance because only thing that doesn't work with those characters in that franchise, you try to make their bodies like proportionate like you would a human. It doesn't work out well. They're supposed to have,
and he's not human. That's the thing.
They're supposed to have like big head, smaller limbs, skinny, smallish.
That's why he's so fast.
Smallish type torso, and like that's cool. But then when they tried to make him like humanly proportionate, it looked weird. Like even from the poster with his legs, people were trying to like, I can't accurately put my feet this way. How did you even? So then I was leaving it alone until. Don't ask me how. I have Yuji Naka as a friend on Facebook. Yuji Naka is the man who legit created Sonic from scratch. When he shared the fan-made post and with no context or words, I was like, okay, now it's got to go. Like and I hope they give him a Stan Lee level cameo because that's when people jumped in and were like, Yuji Naka, the man who made Sonic, is now sharing and saying you should use the fan-made design instead of what you came up with.
Well, they have pledged, real quick before we get back to Pikachu, they have pledged to change it. The director has agreed to, like, we're going to go back to the drawing board and change up some stuff.
Give Yuji Naka a Stan Lee cameo. That is my only request. He made.
If he is a creator, yeah, why not?
He's a creator, and he left after like 06 when they had that last little debacle. I like Sonic 06 personally. I just wish they would remake it for current consoles and take out the thousands of loading screens, and we'd be fine.
Okay, I'm with you.
So what? You didn't like? You weren't too much of a fan of the film. Let's get into that.
Okay, first of all, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh fan. Let's get that straight out there.
You can like both,
but I unlike you, listen, I love the shows, like the movies. Was not a fan of the card game with Pokemon. I didn't understand the cards. If you do, kudos to you, man. Maybe I'm just dumb. I couldn't understand the playing cards because I saw Yu-Gi-Oh! I see 2,000 attack power, 1,800 defense power. Boom. Magic cards. You can read the instructions right then and there. Bam. Pokemon, I don't know what obviously the lightning bolt is like lightning, red is fire, all that junk, but how strong is this? The only time you ever understood what anything was in Pokemon was in the video games. Like Pokemon Stadium 2 for the Nintendo.
That's it. Like those type of things I could deal with. Like the video games.
Because you know the health and everything.
Like think about that. We were like 5 to 10 years old figuring out types, attacks, advantages, defense, stats, and like most video games.
And don't get me wrong, that's like a boost for intelligence. Being able to learn all that stuff and being able to understand instructions and whatnot at that age, that's not bad. But back to the movie, I don't want to say I did not like it, but I don't understand what all the hype was. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to compare it to like Avengers Endgame hype, because that was nuts.
Yeah, that one had build up on it.
That one had 11 years, like you said, or 22 movies worth of build up and hype. With Pikachu, this is just the fun of the first live action for a really big series that a lot of us loved and cared for when we were kids growing up. These cartoons raised us every Saturday, Sunday morning when they came on the WB, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, what have you.
Yeah.
But I know one of the biggest things everyone was talking about was having Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu.
People wanted Danny DeVito. There was like a petition.
What? Why?
I don't know why. For some reason, in the game and in the movie, people petitioned. They're like, if we do a Detective Pikachu, can we please get Danny DeVito?
But why DeVito as Pikachu? I don't get it.
Yeah, I could see it. The short little sassy man who's already playing a shorter, sassier Pokemon. I can understand it. And I can't find the post, but there was some kid from my old elementary school.
I don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I have seen some episodes. I know it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
I can't imagine DeVito's voice coming out of that pure, adorable. You couldn't,
but I feel like it would be. I feel like
it would have maybe been hilarious, but like no. I think Ryan Reynolds was the positive thing about this movie. But I'm gonna tell you right now, as far as like everyone else, I like the girl because, you know, she was out there, she was trying to get her dues in, trying to put in that work. I didn't like the kid. I didn't like Goodman.
Really?
I didn't like Tim Goodman.
That's fair.
Or at least I didn't like the actor. That kid. I don't think that kid's a good actor. To be honest,
I'll give you that. I feel like anybody could have done that role. I feel like anybody could have filled in there. I feel like.
Would you think? Because he was in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom too.
I didn't see that one.
That one sucked too, and he was in it. Yeah, it wasn't as good as Jurassic World.
I'm
that's
not dissing Jurassic Park. I just never grew up on those movies, so I didn't understand the hype when the new one came out. And
man, if you watch the original,
and the fact that it dropped Avengers like from the number 1 to the number 2 slot, I was like confused. I was like, I don't get the Jurassic hype, but
Avengers Infinity War, right?
No, this was like the first Avengers.
Oh, the first Avengers movie,
Jurassic
right?
Park came out in like 2015, I think.
That was Jurassic World.
Jurassic World. That one came out, and it's like immediately they had like the photo because Marvel owns all those people. They had Chris Pratt on a T-Rex looking down at the Avengers, and they were just like, "Good job, Star-Lord." And I'm like, okay, I don't get the hype, but apparently people were excited. So seeing Ryan Reynolds now in this movie, I think he did a good job as Pikachu and carried the film. I wouldn't have even noticed that kid was in Jurassic Park.
Like literally, it could have been anybody as far as like the kid.
You could have gotten like the kid Miles from Blackish to play him, and he would have been just as fine.
Anybody else would have been fine. Like, don't get me wrong, I know the kid's still young. You know, he's popping up in these big name movies. This is basically his biggest movie to date because, other than Ryan Reynolds, he is the star of the movie, so to speak, or he's the main protagonist.
That's it. Like, he's, even in the trailers, the focus is more on Pikachu than it is.
Because that's what everyone's looking forward to. Because even the other thing I didn't like, the story, like, who's this Goodman? What's this story? What's this kid? They didn't go into his childhood that much, which they could have, and possibly have at least revealed the physical Ryan Reynolds, like the human version earlier on.
I'm going to admit I didn't see that one coming. I like halfway through the movie, I was like, holy crap, that might actually be what's going on.
Could you see Ryan as that kid's dad too?
That was another thing. I was like, they got like a light-skinned kid who could possibly play.
It was interracial. There's no problem with that. But
I was like, they got a light-skinned dude to play him so that when they did the Ryan Reynolds reveal, it's like, okay, he's a half-breed kid. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, that worked. I'm like, that works. That was a smart decision because had they done that and it was just like any other kind of mix-up, it would have been weird. Mm-hmm. But the fact they had Ryan Reynolds come in as the Pops, I was like, that makes sense. I somewhat expected it.
It made sense to the point where why Tim could understand Pikachu.
Yeah, because once they showed the whole, like, Endgame thing where he was, like, melding people together, I'm like, wait. And then, like, 15 minutes later, we get the ending, and I'm like, spoiler alert, by the way. We get the ending, I'm like, okay, so that's how that worked.
Mm-hmm. So basically, that connected the story from the beginning when you think Mewtwo is the one that basically kills his partner, or at least tries to kill everybody, to, no, I'm saving your life by putting your body in Pikachu.
I was like, not going to lie, they had us there in the first half. I'm like, it can't be. where's the plot twist? And then when you got it, I was like, all right. Biggest plot twist for me though was Ditto.
No, yeah, what? Yo, I'm sorry, but like, to hell with that fucking Pokemon. To hell with that thing,
He
man.
was genetically modified.
Ditto was like the nicest freaking Pokemon in the series, in the movies, and here he comes being like the ultimate bad Pokemon. Like, not even as bad as the other Pokemon when they got the spray shit in their things. He was authentically evil.
He was a genetically modified experiment. I think he was like the first of many successful ones where he didn't need the gas.
No, because the gas ended up messing him up.
Yeah. So he was like,
Nah.
he's still one of my father's experiments. So to find out that he was playing like 3 different pivotal roles throughout the film.
I did not know that he could be human. I didn't know
that creeped me out too. When they had the Ditto reveal, and I'm like, that's why he had the glasses on. Because then when he's human, he still has the.
I thought everybody was just being a douchebag. Like,
No,
why is everybody wearing sunglasses
I'm
indoors?
like, why is no one talking? And then it was like, oh, he can't talk. So it was funny to me that like they kept that as well. That when Ditto transforms, he still keeps the same little beady eyes, which is why he wears shades all the time.
I don't think I've ever seen a creepier image in a kids friendly movie.
Yeah.
Like everything's perfect, and then
he takes the shades
the
off.
worst beady eyes you could ever see.
So when he makes the noise, it's like Ditto. I'm like, it's not threatening at all. But then he starts
Then he goes
rampaging around the
Ditto.
office. So what else did you have gripes with as far as the plot?
First of all, the dude with the Charizard tattoo on his chest and Charizard is his Pokemon, that other than the fact that he just had the vials on him, that was a complete waste.
You
To
think
me.
so?
Only because, okay, you see Pikachu ain't got his powers because he forgot how to use them. And then he gives Charizard the gas, so you know he gets it from somebody.
Yeah.
Other than that, he really wasn't useful. Especially how he's like, you! Your Pikachu scarred my Charizard.
You're like, you are not very threatening for someone who's dressed the way you are in,
And then-
in an illegal fighting
And then
ring.
everything that Ryan Reynolds was saying, as far as like, no, I can't concentrate on what you say. All I see is nipples. that's how unserious
Like,
you
Ryan-
could take him.
I wanted to take him seriously. I couldn't. Between like the way he was acting, Ryan Reynolds' commentary, and the fact that the kid who's not tough at all was like, had to grab him and shake him and be like, "What are you doing here?" It actually got the information like that was like
Basically
shocking to me.
And then, first of all, even with like, and I want a rematch. I'm like, okay, so win or lose, you're still gonna tell us what's up? Or it didn't even get to the fight because Tim the kid, he stepped in, and then the gas got involved and all this nonsense, and then Gyarados.
that was funny to me.
All they need is a kick, bow. Oh, that worked out so much better.
Magikarp
in my
does
mind.
nothing, and then the Charizard shows up and he evolves to Gyarados. He's like, "Kid, I can't swim."
I
will say that was a
I
nice
can't
homage to the lore too, as well. The fact that like he technically could have murdered that Charizard by stamping out the fire on his tail,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that like when he even just touching the fire, like
No, you saw when Tim stepped on the fire, Charizard freaked out.
it actually like caused him pain because like I don't think the 4th or 5th episode of the OG Pokemon series,
I think it was the third
they
with
find
Charmander.
the Charmander in the woods trying to stay out of the ring because he knows that if he gets wet, he's gonna die.
But he's being a dick.
And then not even being a dick.
Well, he wasn't
his
sure.
trainer-
He was a wild animal. His
He
trainer
was
was
wild and had been
his trainer
abandoned.
was an
His
animal.
trainer was an ass and left him in the woods. He's like, I found this Charizard. Anyone get help? He's like, oh yeah, I left him outside to die. And then they had that whole like argument ensue.
I'll tell you what. I never liked the whole Charmander, Chameleon, Charizard group.
Really?
Only
That
because
was like my favorite starter still to this day.
it was only because of how constantly disrespectful he was to Ash. Boy, I saved your life.
Okay,
and you gonna give me
This
disrespect?
is what I didn't realize about their relationship until like I got older and rewatched the movie.
Okay.
Whichever movie I forget which Pokemon movie it is when Entei came through.
Thing was 3,000.
Pokemon 3000. So remember, he was being a dick to him all that time. I think that was a testament to like the lore of the games where Ash wasn't strong enough as a trainer to keep him tame.
Like he wasn't
if
tough love. Or
yeah,
anything
like if you
that.
get it's like if you get a Charizard early, like if someone trades you a Charizard and you're like still in Pallet Town and you go into a Pokemon battle in the games, it'll say you don't have enough badges or have enough like critiques.
Experience.
You don't have enough experience. Charizard did what it want. Charizard went to sleep. Because I tried that.
That's what I'm saying. I seen
tried
him
that
in a battle where he's just like.
Because I tried that. My level 3s where I was inexperienced. And my level 3 of evolution Pokemon, it'll legit the battle script says your Pokemon doesn't listen to you. Your Pokemon does what it wants. You don't have enough badges.
And was it a Charizard?
It'll legit use flamethrower. Charizard does what it wants. Use Ember. Charizard does what it wants. Charizard went to sleep. And you're just like, dog.
Bro.
So what the redemption in 3000 is that after being left at that camp where Charizard got humbled by the other Charizards, Charizard was able to sense from across, I'll say, the country that Ash was in trouble, flew all the way from that, and there it goes. So that was my redemption. Now that I'm older and realize what he did, he didn't just save Ash. He sensed that Ash was in trouble, and between all the BS that he gave him, he flew from that camp and that dragon dungeon all the way to where that fight was happening.
Because he knew he wasn't gonna have no good master like him, bro.
He was already.
I remember, like they said in the movie, they may not understand, but they feel.
Yeah.
So he probably felt he was in trouble.
So the fact that he didn't respect him, but still loved Ash enough as a trainer to think, I need to fly miles and miles across this vast wasteland to go save my trainer, who's probably going to get himself killed, and shows up just in the nick of time, shows that Charizard might have been a prick, but he still loved Ash to death.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that whole flame on the tail thing was a nice homage that, like, yeah, that still is like their kryptonite, because if you take out the flame, they will die.
I'll tell you what, the part that I liked probably most in the movie was when Pikachu did that Volt tackle.
That was part of my favorite.
That was my favorite scene, just because it was like, bow!
Yeah, and he basically was like blue-balled on his powers the entire movie and couldn't do anything with like a tiny little spark.
But apparently all you got to do is rub the cheeks a little bit, rub the cheeks, and bam!
I think that's a part of it, like part of the callbacks too. That, him riding on the Pidgey was also cool, because I think that was in a movie, and it was in it's actually a unlock or a special thing you can get in Pokemon Snap.
I remember in the OG series where it was Ash and Pikachu versus a whole flock of sparrows, and then that's the first time he got on Ash's shoulders and like launched.
And the fact that he had to carry Pikachu all the way, and they did the same thing when they were in the Torterra forest. Oh, that was trippy to me. I thought it was like some Inception stuff, when then you realize the mountain is actually a Torterra itself, and they've been like gigantically genetically modified.
I figured that once they ran through their area when they were getting chased by the
Greninjas,
right, the Greninjas, Greninjas.
Like, I don't know what the Gree comes from, but it's Ninja Greninja.
Okay, Greninja. When they were chasing them and they went through the air, and then everything started shaking after Psyduck's little thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
Psyduck for the win. I thought it was funny that they made Psyduck. They kept his lore of he only uses confusion when he's stressed out, and then he kept like abusing Ryan Reynolds. Like, I'm just gonna freak out and kill. He's
unless
like,
you take care of him.
He's like, what? Do I care about my master's safety? What kind of question is that? And then he forced him to get a foot rub out of
Give it to me. I don't think there's a Pokemon I hate more than Magikarp other than Psyduck. Only because even in the show, this is all you get from Psyduck. Psy.
Yeah, but they kept that same thing where he's like annoyingly confused and then comes in clutch.
And he's annoying. He's annoying as crap.
Him and Wobbuffet in the cartoon, they come in clutch when it's needed, but not when you want them to. So, any other plot issues you had?
Plot issues. You had none?
I feel like the
guy... I knew there was... I knew there's a thing.
Looking back on it, and after talking with some people in the Pokemon Go Discord, the end game for the villain's plot was kind of weird.
I didn't understand why. No, I'm not saying why would people want to be a Pokemon, because he got the best one. He got Mewtwo.
Yeah.
But why would anyone want to be a Pokemon?
I don't know. It's weird. Like they gave it a good setup. I'll give them that.
Yeah, because we had plot twists.
The fact that the whole city was like a place where Pokemon and humans work together in beautiful harmony, and Pokemon battles are like forbidden, and that's why they're held in an underground like fight club-ish type thing.
Right.
So that was cool. So then you don't really think that much of it until you get to like the big bad and the plot twist. You're like, okay, so this guy was Now he doesn't just want Pokemon and people to live together. He wants them to be together in like the
physical
most
form.
intimate way possible, and that's merging them into heart, soul, and body, and like fusing them together in some weird chimera experiment type deal from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yet he couldn't do it like that himself. He wanted to do it through a neural link to connect with Mewtwo.
It was weird. That was another thing. The Neuralink, the whole time.
You realize that if they both took the gas, which was coming from Mewtwo,
Yeah.
he could have probably done it like that.
My thing with the Mewtwo and the Neuralink thing, when they were just like, let's just take it off. I thought that they were gonna like hash it out and like stretch that fight scene 10 minutes longer because they just threw that idea out the window. Then when they did it, and he's like, "No," I'm like, "Why didn't we do that earlier?" Like that. I thought that was the plan from the beginning.
No,
and
remember,
you guys just forgot.
Tim after he got knocked out by
Ditto. Yeah.
No, not Ditto, the founder.
Right.
Collins.
What's
it?
The old guy.
The old guy, the main guy, Howard. When he got knocked out by Howard as Mewtwo, that's when Howard did his thing and everything. And then remember, Tim woke up, and then he's like, "Oh no, he's doing all this, the Neuralink." And then that's when Ditto showed up.
Okay.
And then Ditto whooped his ass for a little bit, and then Pikachu came. The original son, the original kid, saved him. But then he got knocked out by just sliding on the floor, going.
He was a Ditto the whole time, and that he's actually been locked up. That was a cool plot twist. I give them credit for that because that actually caught me off guard. I didn't see that. I just thought
it made sense that the dad is the one with all the visionary wanting to do all these things, and then his son resents Pokemon.
Yeah, because it was weird that like his son.
It made sense.
Just saw his son being a dick to interns, and that was it. And then he shoehorned like.
And you saw, and he had his eyes.
Yeah, and so then he shoehorned the whole my son's evil thing. And you kind of believed it because we've seen him all we've seen him do is be mean on camera to his dad and to the low level interns at the job. So it's already believable. But then you get the plot twist like, okay. He's just a dick to interns. He doesn't hate Pokemon. Your dad also loves Pokemon. He's just a little too much. He's a little extra with it.
Yeah, basically. And then, oh my god, I still can't get Ditto's eyes out of my head. That was when he transformed into the girl too.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That was super creepy. He was like, "I'm not afraid to hit the woman I'm attracted to." But oh my god, that was just bad, dude. I didn't like that at all.
The Ditto transformations and then the lick-a-tongue scene was gross. That was.
When he was on his way to Ryan City?
When he was on his way to the city.
Bro, what the...
What
was that?
When the lick-a-tongue just went up his face, and he's just like, can anyone stop this? No? We're just letting this happen? And then they had like all the...
Wow, he was in like reminiscing in his like memory with his dad.
Disgusting.
Here comes this thing. Bleh. And I'm like, bro, whose Pokemon is this, dog?
I think it's cool, though, and I think the reason that... like you brought up before we started that Ash isn't in this movie is because they're doing a complete like 3D remake of the first Pokemon movie. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I haven't.
It's going to be... I'm trying to think of a 3D movie that's out. Or it's going to be a complete 3D animation, kind of like one of the recent SpongeBob films, if you've seen those.
Oh, okay, yeah,
they're completely doing the movie Pokemon with Mewtwo Strikes Back like that.
Okay.
So that's probably why Ash isn't in it. But I do like that they reference that when they say Mewtwo, like this is the same Mewtwo that escaped from Kanto 20 years ago. So this is Ash's Mewtwo experience 20 years later. So technically, this is like...
Oh, so this is
technically, I think, canon to the Pokemon universe we know. But this is 2 decades later.
I didn't know that.
Because this is...
So Ash is probably like 30-something
So
years
Ash
old.
is probably somewhere in Kanto. I think this is a whole different region, too, because they said escape from Kanto. Meaning it came from over there in a different continent or different landscape.
So before Tim went to Ryan City, where was he?
I don't know.
They never said that.
Tim was just in some outskirt town as an insurance salesman.
With his grandma, an insurance salesman, all that nonsense.
The most like deadbeat job you can have.
And then even the promotion is like senior insurance guy. But wait, no, that's 2 steps up. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
That happened, but they were like, this is the same Mewtwo that escaped from Kanto. I'm like, so this is our Mewtwo from Pokemon the movie who
just
fought
20
with
years
Mew.
later.
So
if you have followed it,
when they were talking about, I'm like, is Mew dead? I'm like, okay, so no, Mew is still around.
That's another thing I didn't like about the movie.
I would hope
you got Mewtwo, but you ain't got Mew. You mentioned him with the remains in the newspaper, but you don't bring
the remains of Mew. I was like, what?
Why is she?
Fact.
First of all, is Mew a girl or a guy?
I don't know anymore.
It acts like a girl.
I call it a he with a she voice. That original Mew and OG Frieza from Dragon Ball were like my first real confusions.
That's so true. I don't know what Frieza is. Sounds like a girl, but it's a dude. Apparently.
I found out like Frieza was like that person's like B-roll.
I remember I had to ask Amp, what is Frieza? Oh no, I asked you too.
Yeah.
Is Frieza a boy or a girl?
It's because the person who does that, the old raspy voice, voices Genkai and Yu Yu Hakusho. And Genkai is meant to be an evil, raspy old lady who's actually a caring mentor. She's just an ass about it.
Right.
So she literally took that same voice and just put it in the Frieza when they needed somebody. That's
oh
why,
my God, you're so right. I hear it now,
so,
dude.
because I didn't watch Yu Yu Hakusho start to finish, but Genkai, she's basically Genkai. It's not Genkai. It's
I
Frieza.
realize that now. I can hear the voices.
Yeah, so when you look it up, I'm like, okay, she just was asked to do this role and filled in with the same exact voice rather than change it up like they did for the new show.
Right. But then bears that question. If, like you mentioned, if this is really the Kantos 20 years after our Ash Ketchum, from what we understand, where was Mew? Why was she dead? Or not even dead, just remains?
I don't know if they found remains. Like, did they find like scorch marks?
Like her remains?
Like is it dead? Or did they find like... Did it leave like an imprint from a battle and they absorbed the energy? Because I think that was a plot in one of the... That was somewhat of a plot. I think like the Celebi movie.
And then remember, Mewtwo, when we were growing up, was the bad guy.
Yeah.
So does that mean if Mew were to come back, if it comes back, are they gonna fight again? Because Mewtwo was the good guy here.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it's possible to be a sequel, but I didn't realize because I haven't kept up with all of them. Apparently, there's another Pokemon movie with Mew in it. Or Mewtwo in it, and he took all the clone Pokemon to like this garden or forest where he basically like a sanctuary, and he basically is like their protector. Like he doesn't hate humans. He understands now that they're not bad. Like after he flew off in the first Pokemon movie, they actually went to live peacefully. So seeing that carry over into this movie, and he still thinks not all humans are evil, and I still remember this, even though I got captured twice
by a human.
Or 3 times thanks to this movie. Like, I don't hate all of them. Please go bring the boy to me. You'll have amnesia, yada, yada, yada.
All right. One thing I want to bring up before we finish is even if I may not have liked it, a lot of you did. 85% on Rotten Tomatoes of audience people liked it. That's a big number, no matter what anyone says. Also, for this opening weekend, it made $58 million. Best video game movie debut in history. Only behind Avengers Endgame in the U.S., but it beat it overseas. That is not easy, especially with how much traction Avengers still has.
Yeah, because I'm getting the story how I got these cards later, but I've seen Avengers Endgame 4 times, and all 4 times, like,
twice.
I've gone on random weekdays and weekends, and it has been almost packed.
Every time, right?
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, that movie still has nostalgia. Like, every time we get to the ambush scene in the 3rd act, I always get chills.
Oh, me too. Oh, my God. And then,
sidebar, how do you feel about the Russo brothers doing J.K. Rowling tweets with Cap could always pick up the hammer? He didn't want to hurt Thor's feelings.
Man, honestly, I'll believe it.
I call BS because that's just like a middle. Because everyone else in the comments is like, "Well, F Tony and his parents." Then I guess.
No, don't get me wrong. I understand. I can believe what they would say, but I still firmly believe that once Cap got rid of that weight on his shoulders about knowing Tony and who killed his parents, that's when he became worthy. But that's when Thor was all doing his own thing.
But they were saying during Avengers 2, when he still had that knowledge on his shoulders, he could have easily he felt the nudge and was like, I don't want to hurt Thor. I'm like, we got to hurt Thor's ego in the first movie.
Thor was literally telling everyone, do it. Do it right now. You'll become the new
what about when
king
Vision
of Asgard.
did it? That didn't hurt his feelings?
Yeah.
But
no, he literally said, once he did that, I was like, I can trust him. He's worthy because he picked up the hammer.
Yeah.
So I want to get into what you got with you. So basically, you saw it opening weekend, Pikachu. And they were giving away these card packs as a bonus for coming to see the movie.
So if you went opening weekend while supplies last. And
I went Monday, so I didn't get none.
It's trippy because my friend, he's out in Texas. He went tonight for the first time. He got invited to a pre-screening, but he went today with his girlfriend, and they got like 6 packs. I'm like, how? He's like, our theater I was playing. I'm like, we ran out.
You got 4?
I got 9.
You got 9, dude.
I got outvoted to go see Pikachu on a Thursday night. Went to go see Endgame. So we're there, and I go talk to the guy who's running the like the ticket ripping set, the usher, and I was like, look, dog, straight up with you. I got outvoted by my friends because one of us hasn't seen it, which is why we're here to see Endgame and not for 8:45 showing, and we showed up at 9:30. But I was supposed to bring my brother today, but I couldn't. Any chance you could let me slide with a couple of them packs? He just looks at me and goes, look, dog. Grabs like...
What did you think was going to happen?
I didn't think I hit it that hard. He grabs like 9 packs and just slaps them in my hand. I was like, you sure?
Have
He's
fun,
like,
bro.
He's like, look, man, I know people going to be coming here hammering for him, and we going to run out, and I don't want to hear nobody's mouth. Just take them. I was like, usher to usher? Thank you, because I used to work in a movie theater.
Bet. Okay, so
we opened them up to
let's go ahead and do it,
Club, and we got... First off, every pack you get has a Detective Pikachu card in it.
Typical.
There's 18 total you can get. So my first 2, I got Lickitung and Detective Pikachu. The next 2...
And then you got these. You got Detective Pikachu again,
and a magic
then
card.
a magic card because it's only thing to do, hold still, because it can't really do. It literally says hold still,
splash.
not swim, not
even
splash, not breathe. Go breathing for air. Hold still. That's all it says to do.
We're on a crunch. I'll read you guys what cards you could have gotten. You could have gotten Bulbasaur, Ludicolo, Morlo, the little mushroom one, Charmander, Charizard, Arcanine, Psyduck, Magikarp, Greninja, Detective Pikachu, Mr. Mime, Mewtwo, Machamp, Jigglypuff, Snubbull, Lickitung, Ditto, and Slacking. There's 2 Detective Pikachus, and Mewtwo and Greninja are holographic. So we'll do our first Theatergoers unboxing right now and see what we get.
The reveal. Drum roll, please.
No more. I was trying to open these without like destroying it, but I don't care anymore. These are going straight into my little collector slot with all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. All right.
Whoa, a Detective Pikachu.
I got a Detective
Oh,
Pikachu
snap.
and a Bulbasaur.
Charmander. Damn, you almost...
I got 2 starters. Okay.
You almost got
I'll
all
take
3
it.
starters,
I will
man. You got
take-
the Charmander, and you got the Bulbasaur, and you got Detective
I don't think
Pikachu.
Squirtle's one of the ones you can pick. So the fact that I got a holographic Charmander, the 2 Detective Pikachu. Okay, I guess they're all semi-holographic. Yeah, these are all like legit screen caps from the movie too, which is great.
I'll tell you what, Charmander, that was nice.
Charmander's
nice
always been my
pickup.
favorite starter. So the fact that I get 2 starters, I'll take that. That makes up for the Magikarp I got. Because I can't catch a shiny one and go unlike somebody in the room.
Yep. All right, guys, we did the reveal.
Final thoughts overall?
What was your? I'm gonna let you do first. What you?
Anime-
1 to 10. 1 to 10. Do it.
I'll give it an 8.
You'll give it an
strong
8?
8.5.
Okay.
Highest I'll go is a 9. As far as anime movies go, they've let us down in the past. This is a good one. Like if you want to go by yourself,
You'll be satisfied with this live
like
action
if you want a
movie.
movie to go take your kids to before Disney Fest hits this summer with all the stuff we got dropping, Aladdin and Lion King and all that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go see something until one of those drops, this is a good one. Go on like Student Tuesday, Thursdays. If you want to get a deal, not a bad
$5.95.
Not a bad way to kill 2 hours.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. In light of the live action evidence that we've been comparing with each other, I'll have to agree this is probably the best live action movie that just compared to all the recent ones. It's a nice movie to take your girlfriend to. Nice little movie to just chill. And then if you got kids, go ahead and take them. They'll be totally satisfied. Tune in next week, episode 7 of the Theatergoers, John Wick, Chapter 3,
I have
Parabellum.
not seen a John Wick movies.
Boy, you best get on
will
that
be a
shit.
first.
I
This will
am
be a
not
first.
even playing
I don't
with
even-
you.
I don't get the hype. But this will be a first.
Are you even a Keanu Reeves fan?
Yeah, I like them.
You
I like
you
Keanu
ain't a Keanu
movies.
Reeves fan unless you've seen those John Wick movies. That goes for all of you people too. If you haven't seen any of the John Wicks, please, come on, guys, do some research, please. We're gonna see that movie next week. Tune in next time. For me, my name is Tony. My homie Tafari. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Catch us at MegaCon on Friday,
Merry Con on Friday.
1 p.m.